Good morning all, and thank you for joining us on today's webinar. I do hope that you're all keeping safe and well. First of all, before we get started, just a little bit of housekeeping. We're all still working remotely, so apologise in advance for any unplanned disturbances. I am hoping we get no deliveries or my dog will make himself known. I'm also in the middle of an extension at home and the roofers are here today, so there may very well be some unexpected banging noises, so I do apologise. Just so that you know, you are all on mute and your cameras are switched off, so you can see us, but we can't see you. We do have the facility to ask questions by typing them into the Q&A box at the bottom of the screen. We will try and answer them on the webinar if time allows, but if not, then we will follow up afterwards, so don't worry, we will get back to you. So the last webinar we did was aimed at business owners, but today is for everybody, and I do hope that you find it useful. As you're probably aware, last week was Mental Health Awareness Week. We are in peculiar times. Some people are coping just fine with lockdown and others are finding it a struggle. I know there's been days when I've felt a little overwhelmed with it all, and I really feel for my 17-year-old son who should be out seeing friends and enjoying life at college, but instead has been stuck here in the house with me for the last 9 weeks. Certainly recent events have changed the way that we live and do business. And at this stage, we're not quite sure how things will return to normal or what normal will be. Today's webinar is about health, wealth and well-being. In my opinion, all three elements are hugely important, and true wealth is about more than just money. True wealth is about being happy and healthy. It's about being able to enjoy the pleasures in life, whether that's a deeper relationship or personal growth. According to Tony Robbins, it's the ability to live life on your own terms. It's freedom. Money is a tool that you can use to achieve financial freedom, to go after the dreams that you didn't think were possible, to design your life in a way that makes you feel alive and fulfilled. So today, Susie Mitchell, Dr. Susie Mitchell, who's an inspiring speaker with an amazing zest for life, is going to give us some insights on how to manage and why the relevance of emotional well-being. 70% of all beliefs are formed through negative experience, and Susie's going to share 3 tips that can relearn our emotional mindset to make us thrive and not just survive. She'll also help us understand the 5 elements of behavioural well-being to live a truly happy, fulfilled life. And finally, we'll learn the best questions to manage stress and anxiety on a daily basis. So, you don't need to hear any more from me at this stage, so I'll now introduce you to Dr. Susie Mitchell. Susie lives near London and consults with clients worldwide. She's a psychoneurologist and is a specialist in the personal and professional development field with over 25 years of proven performance behind her. Susie is a professionally trained coach and master practitioner in NLP, hypnotherapy and timeline therapy. Susie regularly consults and writes for newspapers and magazines. She speaks on specialist topics on the BBC and is an inspirational keynote speaker. She's also a published author of 2 books, Sat Nav for the Soul and The S Word to date. Susie's sheer passion is to help people make dramatic internal shifts, which help to fulfill their dreams and ambitions. Susie works with corporate and individual clients offering coaching, emotional resilience training, business growth strategies, personal development, confidence, motivation, and mastering stress as some examples. In truly understanding people's needs, Susie achieves the best possible outcomes for her clients. As a perpetual student of life, Susie strives each and every day to be the best that she can be, therefore holding her clients accountable and enabling a win-win scenario. Susie is the co-founder of Savoir Faire Professional Women's Group, of which I'm a member, and she's also a wish volunteer for the Starlight Foundation. Live well, laugh often, love with passion and be healthy are one of her strap lines. So over to you, Susie.
I love that, Carla. It just reminds me of my strap line. I do love life, you know, hugely, as you know. Thank you for the introduction and hello, everyone. I'm delighted to be here with you, delighted. And all kudos to Carla for going a little bit off piste away from the normal wealth strategy side, and obviously bringing me on to help you with some tips on feeling happier, feeling healthier, which is what it's all about. So welcome. Next, please. And we'll go through our slides and it'll be wonderful to share them with you. So 2 beliefs I have, and 2 main paths to happiness, are personal growth and emotional growth. You know, there's a saying that if we're not growing, we're dying, which means we're going backwards. So I'm very, very conscious that, like Carla said in my bio, I hold myself accountable to be a student of life every single day. And these are 3 points that I think are so important. What do we need to be aware of personally so that we can feel happier on a more consistent basis? It secondly is the emotional management. I truly believe that if we can manage our emotions better, we can feel happier longer. Really important. And thoughts and feelings are where our emotions manifest from. And then self-motivation. What can we do every day to maintain that on a consistent basis? It's not just being happy one day and then, you know, average the next. Anyway, let's go forward. Next. Emotions. I've put this quote. I love quotes, and I'm sure lots of you do too, but they really resonate with me, some of them. And it says, you're the driver of your own life. Don't let anyone steal your seat. Whether we live with someone or some of our colleagues that we work with, everybody goes through their own emotional journey. But I truly believe we need to take self-responsibility for how we feel on a daily basis. And it does come down, the quality of our life living is the emotions that we live in daily. And really sort of grasp what shapes your emotions. And it's basically the meaning that we give things that happen in our lives, our experience. And it's relevant to know what emotions trigger us in a positive way and what emotions trigger us on a negative way. And one thing I'm always fascinated about is the neuroscience behind a lot of our mindset thinking. I did part of it on my PhD in neurology, and I really, really love the fact that reports, stats that we can look up and find out, well, why do we get this emotional roller coaster sometime? And they've actually done studies with people who've gone through MRI scanners and thought positive emotions, and those part of the brain, that part of the brain lights up so that we can track positive and negative emotions and how that manifests in the body. I'm an ex-nurse from many years ago, and I truly believe even now more so, we're discovering the correlation between the mind and the body. There really is a massive correlation. So we need to feel good inside to keep us healthier from dis-ease, and happier, of course. Next. Why do we need to become emotionally stronger? Well, just like I've just said, a lot of the stats and things that we're investigating now is stress, anger, depression, anxiety. That all comes from how we manage our emotional mindset. And you can see Gallup have done so many surveys about well-being. And it's important that we take self-responsibility for managing our own mindset. But most importantly, if you're a business owner out there, we've got to think about our employees. We've got to think about their emotional well-being. Because if people are happier, they will do more productive things, and therefore the business will grow. And it's just a happy, well-being place. That's what it's all about. So we've got to decide how we want to strengthen our emotions, and I'm going to give you some tips around that. Next. Again, a little bit of research, Harvard School of Public Health, and again, a lot of this is proven out there, is that if people actually have premature deaths, if they don't manage their emotions, heart disease has been linked to that, and cancer specifically, people who've really suppressed a lot of the emotions that they may have had for many, many years. And these come from limiting beliefs, from our conditioning. And we've stored all that. It literally, you know, manifests within, and it can come out in the physical form, in a form of dis-ease. And they're now linking it massively to a couple of heart attacks, more so cancers. So it's important that we manage a lot of our negative emotions in a very different way. Next. I love this slide because it really gives us that focus. Focus is so important. I'll come to that in a second. But I've designed this circle that in the middle is obviously what a lot of people feel on a regular basis, which is very average. And I don't want to be average. I want to thrive as often as I can, daily if I can. And basically, you know, we don't want to just survive. We don't want to feel fear. We don't want to feel depressed or we're just being average or settling. We want to feel, experience all those emotions that are on the outside of the circle. Things like passion, fulfillment, you know, fearless, excitement, confidence. What if I can? We don't want to do the opposite of what if I can't. So really we want to focus on the outside emotions. And I, at the beginning, when I first came across this, I put it on a post-it note and I really focused on those positive emotions daily. And it definitely helps to make you feel better. So just a little tip on that. Next. Again, how do we relearn? A big thing we're discovering now, how can we relearn our emotional mindset? Because we can. We don't need to just accept our conditioning or our past will equal our future. It doesn't. It certainly doesn't. And Carla mentioned it earlier, but 70% of all beliefs are formed during negative experiences. And they are, sadly. So we need to do something called reframing and change the meaning that we've given that scenario from a week ago, 10 years ago, whenever it was. And those three words in the middle of that slide, focus, meaning, and action, is so important to help you change those limiting beliefs, because you absolutely can. And I'm going to give you a couple of tips now on how you can do that. Next, this is the main tip. I call it an energy triangle. And we've got lots of tools for change. I work with various different companies and we go in there, and I usually predominantly work with the CEO or the business owner. And then if I need to, I work with the teams. And this is a very big technique that we really focus time on because it can change lots of things. The energy of people within an organization matters hugely to the energy of the organization. And if you're at home and you're not a business owner right now, how do we manage our energy on a daily basis? And here's 3 tips. It starts with the bottom of the triangle, which is what we call physiology. That is our state. That's how we manage the energy of the human body, because bodies are designed to move. We've grown up in boxes. We spend time in cars until this obviously recent pandemic, but we sit in houses with computers or offices, or we sit on the couch. Everything has been sedentary. And the human body way back in the hunter and gatherer's day was designed to move. So we need to do some exercise in our bodies. And we know this. These are fundamentals that we know. Whether it's going to the gym, whether it's going for a walk, whether it's doing 20 press-ups or yoga or Pilates at home. And I definitely suggest that you think about what kind of movement am I doing every single day. And if you physically can't move, you might have a knee ailment or back ailment, you can do some upper body work. You can do something to get the human body moving. And I suggest a quick way to move the body, as well as change your emotional mindset. If you're feeling a little bit low or you're feeling down, just suddenly do 10 jumping jacks. And that literally puts the endorphins through your body. Just like a lot of us, like I've said earlier, don't want to go to the gym sometimes, but how do we feel when we come back from the gym or been for a walk? We feel better, we feel happier, and that's what it's all about. So start with the fundamentals of move the body. Secondly, we want to go to the left-hand side of the triangle, which is called focus. I've mentioned it earlier, and focus is everything. And I'm sure you've heard that quote, what we focus on, we get. So if we're focusing on, I feel sad, or I'm not feeling so good, or anxiety or stress, how are you going to feel? You're going to feel stressed. And that's why I wrote the ebook, The S Word, which I'll come to at the end, because I went into organizations about 10, 12 years ago, and the words and the language everybody was focusing on, I was hearing, I'm stressed, I'm stressed, I'm stressed, I'm stressed. And we cannot even use that word, and I'll come to language in a minute. We have to change our focus. And that really, if we focus on happy things, if we focus on feeling thriving and wanting to thrive, we will thrive. But focus is key. And then lastly is the right-hand side is language. It's so important what we are saying to ourselves inside our mind, as well as our external language, the spoken word. So be aware of that. And obviously look at the meaning. It's like I had on the previous slide. If you keep saying to myself, I can't do this and I can't do that, guess what? You're right. But if you can change it and say, what if I can? Ask yourself a better question, you get a better answer. So think about the meaning of your internal language and change it if you need to. and it can be changed. You know, habits can be changed. We've learned this, and actually London University have done surveys that literally it takes 28 days to form a new habit. So it's key that if you don't like some of the habits that you're living now, that maybe don't make you feel good or make you feel as healthy as you could, change them, because it's absolutely doable. But use the energy triangle. It's so important. I consistently use it because when I work with companies, as I said, on the energy side or the people side, I do look at their energy, and everybody can raise the bar to get them feeling happier, have a stronger mindset. And that's what it's all about. Next. Just a couple of interesting facts. I know a lot of us love facts, and I don't know whether you're aware of this. We all have a conscious brain and an unconscious brain. The unconscious brain takes care of us when we sleep and all our organs ticking over. And it's a bit like our mini computer at the back of our mind. It stores all our memories. But I wasn't aware of this until I learned all this. But the conscious mind actually only controls the brain 5% of the day, whereas the unconscious mind takes care of it for 95%. So that's why we've got to be very careful to the thoughts that we put inside. And we now know when we have these thoughts and we're aware of them, you can actually regulate heart rate, blood pressure. And we know these things increase when we're under stress. So it's about having that happier equilibrium. It's so important. They've now realized genes obviously are a natural blueprint to health, but the mind-body correlation definitely works as one for it to be healthier. So, you know, when you're feeling negative and stress in your body, you know you're going to feel different. So absolutely hold yourself to a high standard and feel as happy as you can with doing a few little tips and techniques every single day. Next. 5 elements of behavioral well-being, and I've just chunked those down. Obviously, career, how we spend our time, and as Carla mentioned about me, I think you absolutely need to be passionate about what you do and work-wise. And if you're not working now, you're retired or anything, you know, love the hobbies that you're doing, love the way you're doing your daily living, if you will. It's so important to how we spend our time matches our happiness. It really does. The social behavioral well-being is so important, especially even time when we've obviously been in this 2-month lockdown. We reach out to people that we care about, our friends, our family, through virtual platforms. And that way we still keep connected, because social is so important to the human being. Financial, obviously, that's Carla's side, but we've got to look at the whole holistic whole, and our financials to have a happier life, to live wealthier is important, obviously, and plan for retirement so that we can have a good financial life all our life. Physical, I've already mentioned that. You've got to do some physical exercise to get the body moving. And then community is so, so important to keep that connection to people. And a lot of this has come from well-being assessments from places like Gallup. They're very good facts that back up a lot of what we're saying these days. Next. Create an empowering environment. I just love the word empowering. I really do. It's one of my favorite words because somehow it resonates with the energy inside me. So we've got to set us up every single day, whether we're at home or at work, to put the best environment around us to feel happier and healthier. And one of them is a strong peer group. Have the right people around you that raise you up, that make you feel stronger and happier, you know, whether that's friends, families, work colleagues, whoever it is. And then have that stress busting plan. That's what I've just been talking about with the energy triangle. It's called a new triad. Change the state of how you live your life to feel even better. Put new habits in, as I said. And there's 3 great questions that are good there. How can I reinforce this powerful state at any time I choose? What can I do right now to feel that state? Because you can, in that heartbeat, you can actually put yourself in a better frame of mind and body. And then look at your environment. And that's why I've put those 3 words there: energy management, time management, and life management. We can change our energy anytime we choose. And that does reflect into our time management. Sometimes when we're working on a project, we can feel our energy slipping. So have a break regularly if you're working on lots of big projects, and stretch the body out. And that puts a new release of the energy. And obviously look at our life management as a holistic whole. Next. This is an important slide. You know, I put this as 2 paradigms, the powerful engagement. There's the old paradigm on the left and what we could be looking at doing differently on the right. So in the past, we've always said we should manage our time better, whereas I actually believe it's managing our energy better. And that's when I work with individuals, business owners, companies, we really dig deep into looking how energy could be raised in all areas. Avoid stress, whereas now we say seek stress, because that means manage all our big projects. Look at different ways you can change and adapt to that. Life we used to talk about as being a marathon. Well, now I see it as chunks, sprints. Look at it as a series of sprints, and then it's a lot more effective and it's a lot more doable. Downtime was a waste of time, it was said before, whereas not now. We've now realized that it's good to switch off. Downtime is productive, and especially nowadays with social media around and all the different platforms that we engage in, you've got to have your time for reflection, your time for downtime. Rewards fuel performance, whereas I truly believe now that purpose fuels performance. Why are we here? What's our gifts and what are we meant to do? So important to look at that. In the past, self-discipline rules, whereas now rituals rule. And I would say to you, especially because we're talking about emotional well-being, what rituals or new habits are you going to use moving forward? Maybe hearing a few tips on here to set you up to feel happier and healthier every day. Just have a little think about that. And in the past, it was the power of positive thinking. I think it's the powerful engagement now, bringing in good thinking, good doing, a bit of everything. Next. Questions. Now, these questions really, really helped change a lot of my life for the healthier and happiness. It really did. Now, you can't write all these down if you're taking notes, but what we can do is Carla's team will be able to send this specific slide out to you. The rest of it is my intellectual property, but I'm very happy if you have these questions, print them out and really check in with them on a daily basis, because the first question I put is, how can you create even more certainty right now, especially with what we're going through? You can get that in your body. You can feel stronger by just asking that one question. And then obviously, what am I most happy about? What am I excited about? What am I proud about? If you focus, like we've just said about focus, you will feel good about that. And what am I grateful in my life right now? Because they actually say you can't have fear and gratitude in the mind thoughts at the same time. So my point is, focus on what you can be grateful for. Now, it can be the sun shining. It can be spending time over a Zoom with a loved one for now, whatever we can do. Every 2-3 times a week, I write a gratitude journal, and I really reflect on work colleagues, family, friends, things I've learned, things I've really been grateful for that week. So that might be a little tip as well, but really look at these questions, and I really hope they serve you as well. Next. I love quotes, as I mentioned earlier, and we're coming now to the end of our webinar. So I just want to go through 2 quotes that I think are very powerful, that have helped me with getting my life happier and healthier. Is how you start your day is how you're going to live your day. That's setting yourself up for a happier, more successful, if you're in work, or even a stronger day. So think about those rituals we've talked about and really think, how I start my day is how I want to spend the whole day doing, because time and life is very precious. And then how we live our day is the way we live our lives, as we know. Next. And this one is one of my favorite quotes. Don't wait until everything is just right. Like I said, we can change things now. We can feel happier now. We can feel less stress and anxiety now. We can feel more grateful now. Life will never be perfect, and it shouldn't be, because human beings want that stretch and that growth. We talked about personal growth earlier. There will always be challenges, obstacles, and less than perfect conditions. And that's what I meant earlier, that we want to have these challenges. I call it bring it on. When I'm doing keynote speaking to big audiences, I talk about this and I say, have that attitude of bring it on, because then you can face any challenge in your life. So what? Get started now. With each step you take, you'll grow stronger and stronger, more and more skilled and more self-confident, etc., etc. I truly believe that. I truly believe we can live a happier, stronger, and more healthier life by putting a few of these rituals in place. So I hope these tips have been useful. Next. And this is where people can get hold of me, and obviously Carla's team will let you know as well. That's my website. There's tips on there, there's blogs, there's a book list that I recommend, lots of different genres on there. That's my email. And obviously those of you on LinkedIn can find me on LinkedIn. And then I think that's my book, which Carla's going to talk about at the minute, and that's all about managing stress and everything. So thank you, Carla.
Thank you, Susie. That really was fantastic. particularly liked the use of the word empowering, something that at Oakmere we've focused on quite a lot in recent times. So last year we took some time to think about our corporate values, our company values, and the word empowering came up quite a lot then, in that, you know, we feel we empower our clients to make better financial decisions. We empower other members of the team to be the best that they can be. So yeah, I think that's a brilliant word. So I'm with you on that one. So we have had a couple of questions. If I can just run these by you. Great. So the first question we've got here, you talk about relearning the emotional mindset. So how long does it take to relearn the emotional mindset?
Well, as I mentioned earlier with the study that the London University did, how long does it take to change habits? And they came up with the average is 28 days. When I've been working with my clients, I think you can change them a lot quicker than that. It depends on our conditioning and how ingrained that person's mindset is to our own limiting beliefs. And there are obviously lots more techniques and strategies I can give people. I can only do, you know, a short bit on the call. We could talk for hours about this subject. As you know, it's dear to my heart. So I believe we can do it very, very quickly, as long as we're committed to doing it. You know, it's like anything to change. As long as we're committed to doing it and feeling happy and strong, we can change any part of that fairly quickly.
Thank you, Susie. And the next question we've got, what's your top tip on how to look after staff wellbeing during COVID lockdown?
I think number one would be, my top tip is connection. You know, the human being needs to connect. We obviously are intelligent, most of us, you know, and we love to connect with people, to share our heart, to share our gifts, to share just how we live our lives. So I think connection is the number one. And even though we have been, you know, working remotely and obviously separated from loved ones, friends, work colleagues, we can still reach out through virtual platforms, and like we are doing now, and connecting. And I really truly believe that the connection will, hopefully during this time, people will reflect and people will reset the way they choose to live their lives moving forward. You know, people should be kinder to each other, and I hope that happens. And obviously keep raising the standards of self-responsibility to feel happier, less stress in life, and obviously to lead a healthier and a wealthier, as you said earlier, true wealth life.
Brilliant. Thank you, Susie. So I do hope you all found that useful. As a thank you for joining us on today's webinar, we're going to be sending you by email a complimentary electronic copy of Susie's book, The S Word. I've read it and it has some great tips in there for dealing with stress. As Susie's mentioned, all the proceeds are being donated to the NHS. So Oakmere are going to be covering the cost of the books and making the donation to the NHS.
That's amazing, Carla. Let me interrupt you there. That's an amazing gift that you're giving everybody on this webinar. Well done. Well done.
Thank you. So we'll send those out by email after the session today. But if you do have any friends or family who you feel would benefit from the book, and I'm sure there will be some because it is brilliant, then do go onto Amazon and purchase one for them, and the details are at the bottom of the slide now. But if anybody wants any more details or how to contact Susie or the link to the book on Amazon, then do just get in touch with us. So the next webinar that we're planning will be in a couple of weeks, and that's on responsible investing. This is something that I'm hugely passionate about. And a key theme for me is that we should be investing for financial well-being in a world that's worth living in. So please do keep an eye out for the email with the link to register. And again, pass on to any friends or family that you feel may benefit from that. Another reminder, we have sent out an email about a survey. So we're looking to find out from you what you want to see to make sure that the content for these webinars is relevant, that you're finding it interesting. So please do have a look for that email. If you can't find it, just let us know. But if you could just take a couple of seconds and fill that in and send it back, that would be so useful for us. We want to put these on for you, so again, to make sure it's interesting for you. And at Oakmere, it's business as usual. We're able to carry out all our meetings by video or phone. Most paperwork can be done electronically now. So please do get in touch with us. We are here for you. And every member of my team will be delighted to have a chat with you. So please do just get in touch. And so finally, I just want to say thank you to Dr. Susie Mitchell for today's fantastic presentation. And thank you to you for joining us, and please stay safe. Thank you.